Hey, this is Sasha. Thanks for joining me in today's video. And what I want to share with you today regarding your money is, should you buy a car from a private party, meaning a regular person, or a car dealership? So stay tuned. I'm going to answer some of these questions for you and give you some things to think about when it comes to your money. All right, so if you're in the hunt for a newer car, maybe it's not completely brand new, but something newer, maybe an upgrade, maybe you're trying to buy your first car, there's a couple of ways that you could go about getting a new car. And one of those ways is to go directly to a dealership or someone that sells cars, whether it's used cars, new cars, or you could go ahead and be on the hunt for a private party, just in the same way where, hey, somebody that's selling a video camera or an old cell phone, you could see, look it up on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, or any other website. In the past, it used to be newspapers, Auto Trader, those kinds of things. And you could find someone that is trying to sell their car and they're trying to get rid of it, and you could go ahead and take new ownership for it. So the question is which one should you go with? And I think it's important to recognize that everybody's purchase decisions are a little bit different in terms of what they value and what's important to them. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Now, before we get there, go ahead and check out our website at MyLittleNestEgg.com. You could go ahead and check out the Getting Started page, as well as some freebies and other great resources that we have available. So with that being said, let's check out the average dealer and document fees. Now, this is from realcartips.com. You could go ahead and also look it up on other Wikipedia sites and just statistic sites. But here's a quick little document. This one was as of July 2011, so it's like 10 years old. But the point being is that different states have different fees of documentation, meaning just because you walked into that dealership and you're trying to buy a car, on average, let's say in Arizona, you'll pay maybe $97, which doesn't sound too bad, but take a look at Florida here where I used to live. You're looking at $607. And now what you typically see is the higher end of about $999. Some of them is $1,200 just to buy the car. So if you're buying a $4,000 car, think of this, you're buying a $4,000 car and you're going to pay $1,000 on it. You're paying nearly 20-25% just on dealer fees alone to buy a $4,000 or $5,000 vehicle. So does that really make sense just to have the dealer fees? Well, yes and maybe no. So that's what we're going to talk about here. And I want to go to the glass board to show you the pros and cons. From my personal perspective, I don't think it makes sense if you're just buying something that's used maybe $10,000 or lower, because you can find plenty of those kinds of cars from private parties and you'll save a lot of money. So if we kind of take a look at some of the key factors that make our decision-making process for buying a car, or which method to choose, do we want to go with a dealer or a private party, meaning a single regular individual? The first thing is cost. Usually when it comes to cost, the dealer has a higher cost. The private party is less. Why is that? Well, they're just trying to offload their car in terms of, hey, I want to sell my car so I could get a new one. I'm selling my car because I'm moving. I just need to get rid of it. I have a time period, time crunch. This is a big asset for me. I just want to get rid of it. With a dealer, they're trying to have margins in there to where they got to pay their employees. They have high overhead. They need to move and rotate cars. It's a business for them. So they want to go ahead and move the car. So oftentimes you'll pay higher prices when it comes to dealership. Private parties, usually you can get a better deal. Now, when it comes to financing, here's the thing, is it a lot easier to finance with a dealer? And the reason for that is because they typically deal in newer cars. Whereas if you try to finance things through your bank to buy a used car, they may not even finance it because the vehicle doesn't have as much value, and when they repossess it, they know it's worth a lot less. So in this case, you need to go in with kind of a cash offer or have the money. So if you're buying, let's say, a $8,000 vehicle, you need to have $8,000 in cash, or at least most of it, to be able to cover all these expenses. And on top of that, plus additional, fees for like taxes, titles, and that kind of stuff. Warranties. The dealer is going to have warranties for you. They might have a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day warranty on certain cases, or they might have a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, which in my cases, those are just fluffy warranties because they don't really mean much. It's kind of like, hey, I have a warranty on my computer over the next 6 months that if anything breaks, well, yeah, but the chance of that is like 2%. It's not going to happen. So a lot of those warranties aren't really worth much, but you do get a warranty that if you do have a lemon, hey, okay, they'll probably take care of it. Here, there's no warranties. So you need to be a little more careful here with a private party because, hey, you're going to get what you're going to get, and you need to make sure that you inspect the vehicle. The good news is that here, with the vehicle history, yes, you may have a lot of vehicle history because they could be the original owner. And if you can buy it from the original owner, that's a good thing because you can also see the type of person that's driving it. You can see, hey, are they a young person or an old person? You can sense it. For example, if I showed up at a house in Florida that was a 65 plus gated community and that person's selling an old van that was redone for wheelchair access, I know that that van is probably in good shape. It's been taken care of. It hasn't been, ridden hard and so on. Whereas if you buy a van from, let's say, a 30-year-old mom with 7 kids or 6 kids, there's going to be crumbs and stuff in the seats. I know because I have kids. They put crumbs in the seats. They step on the seats with their shoes. That's what they do. That's just the nature of things. So looking at vehicle history, you're going to have much more vehicle history from a private party owner than you will here, not as much. So that's a thing. However, you do have more selection. You have tons of selection here. If you want one-stop shop, you can go to a dealer. Here, you got one car probably. That is it. They're selling one car and you have to go to another place this week, another place next week to maybe check out a couple of vehicles. So you have to drive around a little bit more. However, you've got selling pressure. Here, there's a lot of sales and selling pressure. When it comes to selling here, there's not much pressure because people are going to say, hey, you want to show up? You take a look at the car? Great. You like it? Well, let's talk about it. But it's not as much pressure. Whereas when you get to a dealer, yeah, they got these balloons, they got cookies, they offer you, coffee. Do you want coffee? Have a seat, nice chairs. You almost feel pressured to buy it just by being in the office because the office is so nice. So that's another thing that you want to be a little more careful about, is that those selling pressure techniques start to work on you. Paperwork. It's a lot easier with a dealer. So they go ahead and take care of everything. It's one of the things they say, hey, this is why we charge you the $800 document fee. However, here, there's no fees, but you have to do the paperwork yourself. And I'll tell you, it doesn't take that long. It does take a little bit of time, but it's not too tough. Is it worth $800? Depends on your time. If you're making $1,000 an hour, maybe it's not worth it for you to go ahead and, go private party. But on the other hand, if you're, making, let's say, $20 an hour, well, is it worth the $800 to do paperwork? Probably not. So anyways, inspection, the dealer usually will do the inspection. Here you have to do it yourself, DIY, or oftentimes what you can also do is in a private party owner say, hey, I like the car. I'll put, $1,000 down for you right now. But I want to take it to my inspector and make sure everything's cleared up, like my mechanic. Or you could, pay your mechanic $50 or $100 to go ahead and bring them over there. Sometimes they may want to lift it up or something like that. But anyways, if you're not good with cars, then go ahead and, do an inspection. Oftentimes for me, when I used to live in Florida, I didn't really worry too much about that. Number one, it's a Florida car, so there's not a lot of rust or things like that from the north. Number two, you got a lot of old people driving it. They're taking care of cars. So most of the times when I bought my old cars or older cars, they were from older people. So I didn't really worry about the inspection because I knew they were already taken care of. Those people, they bought new cars from dealers and they took it in for those maintenance. And by the time those things ran out or they were, retired or couldn't walk, it's a lot more of a, hey, do you really need to spend money on an inspection? You don't. And I never had problems with that. And a street rep. So here the dealer, it's got a reputation to worry about. This is the one concern that you have to watch out for private parties. So if you're buying someone that seems sketchy, feels weird, maybe it could be a bigger city, you have to be very careful about that because now all of a sudden you might think you're getting a good deal or, hey, it's not a bad deal. I'm saving $100 here and there. But the reality is they don't have a reputation here. They're just trying to move the car, move the vehicle. Maybe it's a lemon. And that could be a huge issue. Whereas the dealer does have a reputation in mind. So they maybe unintentionally sell you a lemon, or maybe, the price is a little higher, but they'd rather sell you a better vehicle. That way you're not complaining and you pay higher prices. And then someone else here at a private party may try to take advantage of you. So if you're dealing with, one-on-one, they don't have a reputation that you can, blow or complain about or report and do reviews on. It's just, hey, that was the buying and that's what I bought, and 2-3 weeks later your transmission falls out, you know, well, they don't have a reputation. So anyways, these are kind of the pros and cons. Oftentimes I say it's more, if you're looking really at cost basis, private party is going to be a better deal. If you're looking for less headaches and just keep it simple, a dealer might be fine, but you'll just pay a little more for that. That's kind of the long and the short of it. And if you really need to finance things, I guess if you don't have money, you know, or to pay cash, this is a huge border and boundary where you'll probably need to then go to the dealer because it's easier, but you'll need to go with a newer car, which is more expensive. And then you go ahead and it goes on your credit. You need kind of a loan. And in the end, you'll be paying much more for the cash anyway. And that's hence the higher prices. So those are my thoughts, insights, and I hope it helps you make a decision, because there's no one size fits all. Which one is exactly better? It depends on what you value and what's important to you, and your location and many other factors. All right, so I hope you found it helpful. Feel free to check out some of the great freebies I have on our website by clicking the link over here. A lot of PDF documents, mini courses that are absolutely free. Just check them out by clicking the link here. Anyways, thank you so much, and remember, do what you love, contribute to other people, but most importantly, live life abundantly. I'll see you in the next video.